to Both Sides Now, featuring the unconventional duo, Dr. Shirley and medium Kelly White. Two perspectives, one world. This is Both Sides Now.
Well, good evening, everyone. I'm Dr. Shirley. Welcome. What?
Did you fight about me? Wait a minute. I'm all ready to jump in here. Oh, it has been a day. I'm
Completely.
hello.
Wow.
I think you need therapy.
I think I need therapy. I'm glad we're talking about it today.
Me
Oh, my
too.
God.
I'm medium Kelly White.
And welcome to Both Sides Now.
Hi, John.
Hi,
Don't forget
ladies.
about John.
Welcome back. We missed you last week. How are you guys doing?
Oh, great. It was such a great weekend.
Yeah.
We got to see my grandson.
Oh,
and he
so
is
cute.
so cute.
Did you both go to Texas?
No.
No.
Oh,
No,
he
no,
came
they
to visit?
Here.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
They came here.
Oh, he's so
I had to
cute.
stop and think for a minute.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. No, we but it was just a great fun. Wasn't that
Did
fun?
we go to Texas?
I know. I actually stopped and thought. I had to think for a moment.
It's so funny how somebody else's reality and you kind of think, wait a minute.
Maybe
did I
we
do
did.
that or not? I know.
You know, maybe we did.
Okay.
So
well, that's great. So
tell us about the planets, because I'm going to blame the planets on my having my
my
brain
God.
fart just now.
Well, first of all, and it's so funny, if you've been reading any of the James Van Prague blogs that he has, John, have
Yes,
you been
I
reading
did,
them?
yes.
Oh my God, he had so many Mercury retrograde experiences.
Yeah.
Sorry, James, but hilarious. Hilarious. I mean, as I was reading you, I was weeping for you because I so felt it.
Oh.
It was such, in fact, my car blew up. I have to get a new car now.
Well, tell them what happened, and then they think it blew up.
Oh, then my Sirius radio went out. Today, as I got off the thing. But Mercury has now gone direct, but it's still in the shadow phase,
Yeah,
John.
the shadow
so
period.
it's, things at least should, please God, get a little better.
Mm-hmm.
But we do have some other planets retrograde. And, a few weeks ago, I've known about Pluto retrograde for some time now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, let me just dig into this. And the more I dug into it, the more I realized that our topic tonight was really important.
Yeah.
Because we're going to be talking about and demystifying therapy, like what goes on in the therapeutic world.
Right.
What is that? It goes on in that room, actually.
Yeah.
But so I thought I would talk a little bit about Pluto retrograde.
Mm-hmm.
And that has been retrograde since April 20th, and it stays retrograde until September 28th.
September 28th. Wow.
Okay, so it's really important
Yeah.
for really important things like this. It means transformation, internal transformation.
Yeah.
That's Pluto when it's retrograde. When it's direct, it's more outside of you. But when it's retrograde, it's inside. So during this period of time, you would develop like great insights into your subconscious.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
It's the powers of regeneration are greater during a retrograde. During a Pluto retrograde. So you will often find people that are doing things like all of a sudden they're doing cleanses or things. And the thing about a cleanse, which is really interesting, is it does kind of raise your consciousness.
Really?
Often. Oh, yeah. Well, that's a look. I guess not for you, but for most people, yes.
Well, no, I didn't know that. That's so
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
interesting.
No, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. It actually, that when you release toxins, and then all of a sudden, it's interesting, your consciousness, you start to feel
Like
different.
the brain fog clears.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's a really great time. This Pluto retrograde that lasts again until the end of September is great for an internal house cleaning. It's great for eliminating and releasing the old, outworn, letting go of attitudes, letting go of old thinking and communication patterns. So one of the questions you might ask yourself during this Pluto retrograde would be, why do we continually give away our power?
Yeah.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
Another one would be, under what circumstances do we react so defensively that we elicit attacks from others? Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, that is very interesting.
You'll be asking yourself some deep questions here, and that's all of this has led me to us to have this conversation about let's talk about therapy.
Yeah. What was your idea for a topic? And I thought it was a great topic.
I thought it was. I mean, to demystify it, because I was raised in a psychological home. My mother was a psychologist. I married a psychologist. My kids are psychologists. I mean, I don't know any different.
Right.
But most people don't have that.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to point out that you are a licensed therapist, not in addition. You're in addition to being a medium.
I'm a medium, and I'm also a licensed
an
psychotherapist.
An LMFT?
Yes, licensed marriage family therapist as well.
Because we always call her medium Kelly White, but she actually is a trained therapist. As well.
I do both. Yeah. And then that's what we wanted to talk about is, I mean, I think the first thing, if you're thinking about going into therapy, and we'll talk about what actually happens in the rooms to demystify it,
right,
and to kind of untangle all of the fears you may have about it. And we really want you to call in with any fears of therapy. I mean, like, because you may have heard some, horrible things out there, but
there's some horrific stories of therapists, unfortunately.
Sadly, I guess there is. Yeah, it is.
Hey, it's unfortunate because it's such a sacred relationship to me. Next to Sydney, my patients are sacred, and so to take advantage of that is awful.
Do you think a lot of therapists get into the work to find out about themselves, and then they can help other people, and so some of them are still healing, and that's why
the
they're the bad.
reputation is that we're all messed up, and I do believe that everybody, there's a reason why certain personalities are attracted to a certain profession. And so I do believe that, and hopefully they are getting the help.
Yeah.
I think it's a very irresponsible thing to not do your own therapy if you're a therapist.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
And I thought, when I first started, I thought, how can I go to therapy and I'm trying to help people that's, they're not going to think that I can help them well. And the exact opposite is true because you're human.
Exactly. Yeah. And so, and I thought one of the things that we should talk about are the lenses that we view in the room.
Yeah.
I mean, you're in the room with a therapist. So before you even think about who you're going to work with, you want to do a little digging around. If you're looking for a therapist, you want to find out what lens do they use to view the room, to view their own, how they work with others. And that would look, typically would like, are they Freudian, which like, do they just concentrate on, that's kind of old fashioned, but I guess there are people that still do it.
Yeah.
They just, look at the childhood. I happen to, of course I'm a spiritualist, so I look at, why the soul incarnated, and I kind of reframe all these experiences towards that. But also I was an existentialist, and I was raised as an existentialist. That's really more of a philosophy, but really that's about the relationship, and they believe that the relationship is what heals. That is, it's the I-thou relationship. It's the meaning of life. It's you probably have heard of the existential anxiety or existential fear, which is often death. So, of course, as a medium, I have, I can work with that quite well.
Yes, you can.
It's about freedom. It's about choice, and about the human condition.
Yeah.
So you kind of want to know what the therapist, and I'd have to say with your lens, you probably view things through somatic.
I view things somatically, what their story is maybe telling me about the possibility of what experiences they had. If they come in because they're so anxious, then it allows me to kind of figure out what questions. It guides the questions I'm going to ask. So anxiety to me is I felt a person who might have felt unsafe as a kid, or might have had some traumas. And if that doesn't show up, then I'll ask about their birth. And, our show with Stephen Terrell, because there's a reason for the anxiety. It could be genetic also, but, so it informs my questions. Yeah.
And somatic, to explain to the audience what somatic is, I know those who are regulars know, but
yes, they do.
For the new folks,
I talk about it at nausea. It's somatic means body, so I pay attention to the body. So I'm looking kind of at what the body is doing. If the body is hunched over, that tells me maybe there's protecting the heart.
So let me ask you this: so a new client comes in, a new patient. You call them patients, right?
Yeah, your mom. Trained me that way. I mean, Kelly's mother was my mentor. So that's how we met.
Back in the day, that's what they call them. We call them clients.
Yeah.
But But so the new person, the new kid on the block comes in the room, and how do you begin? Because that's where a lot of the anxiety and fear comes with people. They don't know what to expect when they're walking into this room. They've made the appointment. Bravo, that's great.
Yeah.
The courage.
And they don't know. It takes a lot of courage.
Yeah,
it really does, because you don't know what you don't know, and you don't know what the other person is going to be like.
And you don't know what's going to come up.
You don't know what's going to come up. And often what I find, Shirley, is that people come in during some crisis.
Yeah. Yeah, that's usually what brings them in. A smaller percentage of people that come in just come in because they want to kind of figure things out or explore things, So typically, I mean, it's a cliche, but typically I'll ask, what brings you today?
Okay.
And so if you're if you go to see a therapist for the first time, have an idea of what you might want to talk about. And some people have just said, I don't know, I just want to explore.
I had a therapist, and although I love her to death, this is how she does it. And I've heard this from other clients who actually have shared the same thing happen to them with other therapists, where, and I don't know if you've ever done this, but the new person walks in and the therapist says nothing.
Oh.
And first time I was like, well, did I miss something? Maybe I didn't hear what she had to say. So I don't do that. I never was. I don't.
I do.
But do you do that?
When I was teaching groups, I did that. But, I was teaching groups, and that's a technique where you start a group and everybody sits down, and the group leader, unless it's a very purposeful, like we're here to deal with, support group for grieving or something, you don't say anything and you wait. And usually the first one to say something is the one either that's uncomfortable with silence. And we'll do a show maybe on group therapy, and I had an incredible experience that would happen because I didn't say, and it was 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes.
Wow.
Thank God I don't feel uncomfortable in silence. And about 20 minutes, that's when it showed up, But I don't do that in individual. I think that's...
Right. But I tell you, there are therapists, but everybody in the audience needs to understand that there are the ones that do that.
It seems like it's a very kind of Freudian thing. It used to be Freudian. They taught you where the patient sat on a couch and you sat behind the person. And in my somatic training, you realize that it's the connection, between two people.
Yeah, same thing, absolutely.
So for me not to say anything and have a person sit in the room and then not say anything, you're not establishing that connection piece that is so important. And all the research shows that is the main thing that helps the healing.
Absolutely. No matter whatever the lens is. Yeah, that's very true.
So no. To answer your question, I would never do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, me either.
And that's what I love about this show is it's a combination of spirituality and psychology. It's a mixture of the two worlds. That's why we call it Both Sides Now. And it, as Kelly mentioned about life path, life lessons, things like that, she looks at the spiritual side of why things are happening, and then you get into the psychology of how to deal with them.
Yeah. If the person is open. Some people, believe it or not, don't realize I'm a medium. I always try to tell them.
But you're intuitive, though, so that's just it's not something you can turn off, so you're going to intuitively feel them out when you're in a therapy session, right?
Okay.
I
do.
Yeah.
I do.
And, it's important also for the therapist, and I'm sure you do this too, that by the time they leave, they're not dysregulated, meaning they're not
want to keep them together,
completely upset, because that I think sometimes stops people from going to therapy. Is like, I don't want to kind of dig everything up and take the scabs off and then be left to go home like that.
Oh my goodness,
yeah.
No. I actually like them to feel better. I know that life is tough, and I know that there's some really rough circumstances out there. And I'm always amazed when somebody will come in and they're telling me their story, and maybe you've had this too, where the story is so bad. It's tough.
It's amazing they're still standing.
It's amazing they're still standing, and I'll say, "Wow, and I will say that it's amazing you're still standing, and just the fact that I've acknowledged their trouble, and sometimes by the time they don't even know how bad it was. Don't you find that?
Well, absolutely, because they had to get through it, and so you just kind of put your the resilience hat on and you get through it. And
I was going to say, and after that, usually there is some depression. I mean, it's got to be. After they've really toughed it out.
Right.
And they get through everything, and then it's a kaboom full of sadness and depression, and that's often what I'll work with too.
Right. Yeah. Well, and it's. I know a lot of people feel that they should be able to handle it themselves, and there still might be, not so much in LA, I don't think, but there still might be a stigma where if you can't handle it yourself, then you go to therapy. So like somewhat of a weakness associated. And you can't do it yourself. I mean, healing is about that, having a witness to your pain, that resonance in the room, having someone be able to hold the space so you feel safe enough to feel the profound sadness or the anger or the rage, in some of the issues. And so it's really not something that you can, I think, work with it on your own if you didn't go through a lot of very, traumatic things. And or you can deal with it, so much, But to have that kind of profound healing, I think you need that other person.
Yeah, because there's so many layers, right? There's so many layers of emotions, feelings, and reasons we are acting on autopilot a lot of times. We don't even recognize our patterns. And so
true.
An objective therapist or, can tune into that and give us some,
Right.
Yeah.
I always love it when a guy will come in and he's never been in therapy and never wanted to be in therapy and can't even believe he's in therapy now and starts to feel better. And then all of a sudden, this is the funniest part of all, they start telling all their friends.
Right.
Everybody should be in therapy. And I know you're not a big Howard Stern fan, and as you know, I am, but he is a huge, huge, huge proponent of therapy. Huge.
That's wonderful.
Which is great.
Yeah, that's great. So I think if you look at it that way, I think it takes a lot of courage to go to therapy.
So much.
I think it's the courageous people that go to therapy.
It's true.
I really do.
Especially when you do the drill down technique, where you're drilling down to get to the root of the issue, because that always brings up so much emotion for me when that happens, because you're really getting underneath what it is.
You're looking at the wound.
Yeah. And I had an experience the other day where I witnessed her as a life coach doing that kind of drill down technique, saying, why do you want to do this? And then kept asking the question, why do you want to do this? Why do you want to do this? And what is the reason for this? And kept going on and on, and had to get a different answer, a succinct answer each time, and then got to where it actually came down to, because he needed to be seen or needed to be heard or what, like it was like underneath all of that, which were all these, other answers, was the real deep reason of just wanting to feel connected, be seen and heard.
And so imagine having someone looking at you with compassion when you get to that place and say, I just need to be seen.
Yeah.
And someone actually seeing you in that moment and giving you that experience. That is what we call a corrective experience. That in and of itself can, begins to heal the wound. Yeah.
Well, Shirley, I had a situation the other day. I'm not going to go through it, what it was, but after the experience, I looked at you and I said, I have to tell you something. I had to tell you what happened to me. And you were so great just listening. And then you had tears in your eyes. And I was like, wow, you actually heard me. You really heard me.
Oh, well, I'm glad.
It was a big deal.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But it really helped me able to, acknowledge what really did happen and then able to move on. It was really great.
You get someone kind of to not bounce it off of necessarily but to I guess maybe share. I mean, there's a lot of different things, but to share the moment, to share the load of the experience, to, and as much as, listen, I am the biggest avoidant in town, okay? But as much as it took me a long time to fight against, when I'd go to the attachment conferences and stuff, we are relational beings.
Yes.
Meaning,
craving connection, right?
Yeah. Because that's the way our nervous system was built, because it's really evolutionary. I mean, most likely the Neanderthal that was walking by himself got killed because he didn't notice the tiger behind him. And so we are literally, kind of built to be in groups because it's safer that way, and that's how our species survived. So we are relational. Yeah.
So when somebody comes into the room with you, do you ask them a question?
I usually say, what brings you here?
Yeah, I often do
Can I
that
help
one.
you? Yeah. And then usually they...
And sometimes they know, sometimes they don't know. Sometimes they think it's one thing and it's really something else.
Yeah.
Yeah. And are you watching body language? Are you watching certain cues for certain things?
Yeah, I'll tell you something interesting. And I don't know if you were trained this way, but I was trained this way. So if somebody starts to cry, you don't give them a Kleenex right away.
No, why?
You didn't hear that one? Yeah, it was the big thing in grad school at the time. Because you don't want to interrupt their emotional experience. And so by handing them a Kleenex, it may indicate to them, stop crying. So I had to really watch that because that was in my mind.
Yeah, it's interesting because I see it as I see you crying and as a caring thing.
Me
help.
too. Me too.
Yeah.
But now I question myself. I go, I guess I'm always the first one to want to grab one.
You have it there readily available, and so do I.
We go through a lot of Kleenex.
Yeah.
In fact, I owe you some boxes. Sorry.
That's fine. Take them.
A lot of hot tea too.
Yeah.
But again, that feeling of warmth, that feeling of taking care of, that feeling of
of holding that space for
holding
them.
the space.
Yeah,
and it really is a sacred space.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah,
I mean, for that hour, it's a one-on-one experience of a sacred time.
Yeah.
And all kinds of things can come up.
And the trust develops slowly. But you can tell once you see somebody, I think you can tell if you're able to, if that trust is going to develop or not.
If you can connect with somebody.
Yeah, if you connect with them.
Yeah.
I always say shop around. I always say call different therapists and even notice what sense you get from just talking with them on the phone. And then maybe if you have the luxury to go and visit a few, you may like the first one and then you want to stay with that person, but it's no different than shopping for a car or a doctor. You wouldn't just go with the first one. It's really important because it's a different relationship than that of a physical.
So I have a question for you. So if somebody calls you on the phone, do you say to them, "Oh, what is your issue?" Or do you just say set up the appointment? Because that's something some therapists will do that, and occasionally I've done that.
So like a screening of sort.
Well, yeah, because I want to make sure I'm the right fit, from the beginning.
Yeah.
Is it anxiety? Is it depression? Have you just had major loss? Whatever it happens to be.
Usually I find that they will tell me that on the phone. When they say, I'm calling you because I'm having some issues with depression or something like that. And so they'll say it.
Okay.
And I'll share with them maybe a little bit about how I work. And then I'll say, come in and let's see if it's a fit.
Let's see.
Yeah. And I never take it personally when it's not.
Oh, yeah.
I really, when I first started, it was hard because it felt like, it was about me. But now I just know that there's so many different fits and so many different people, and I can't help everybody.
Right.
It used to be that I felt bad or there was something wrong with me or my skill set if I couldn't help someone. But I realized that, I'll do the best that I can, and I can't help everybody. And so...
Oh, I agree.
I'm able to kind of let it go.
So how do you and Kelly work together? Because I know you often work together. You share the same office. So,
we do. It's the best. I love it.
I have to see the new office. I haven't been to
You
the new one yet.
You love it. Everybody that comes in loves it.
Oh, cool.
It's fabulous.
So, how do you guys work together? I know that, that's how this show started, actually, was as a result of working together and wanting to combine those two methods.
I think it depends on what brings us together in the room. So, for example, if I'm working with someone who's experienced a lot of loss, and they're open to inviting Kelly in. So, which we have one next week.
Oh, is it next week?
Yeah.
Okay.
So then I will kind of sit back, and if they want me to be there. So I'll sit back and I'll let Kelly do everything. And every so often I've said something or joined in, but not usually. And so that's how we'll do.
And then for what I do is if I'm working with somebody that I know has trauma issues that are unresolved, and I know the only way that I feel the right way is I'll send them to Shirley. If it's for somatic, I'll send them to you. Another thing that Shirley and I do, so we work really well together. Thanks for asking. And some people like to come in for sessions with both of us. I mean, it is a supportive. It's a really great experience. I think people really enjoy it.
And so you'll do. You'll come up with something spiritual, and if I notice, I'll say, what do you notice? I noticed your shoulders relaxed a little bit. Can you? And so we'll kind of do that. Yeah. Yeah.
So that works. Another thing that Shirley and I do, as we're working with the person, does that person possibly need medication? Now we can't give medication, but we can. We have wonderful referrals for psychiatrists.
Yeah.
But we also work with a fabulous doctor, Dr. Robert Gramlich, who does homeopathy.
Yeah.
And sometimes that works better.
Yeah.
I mean, it all depends. Every soul is so unique, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it does take a village.
It really does. I mean, many times I'll send them to someone who does hands-on somatic body
that's
work.
right.
And she is actually in our office on Monday nights and
terrific.
Tuesdays. Yeah.
Shout out to Laura.
That's right. Yay, Laura. And Laura Melton, if anybody wants to look her up, her last name, she's in Tarzana, the Valley. And so I'll send someone to you for some spiritual work, and I'll send someone to Laura to do the hands-on. There's something so powerful to even just putting your hand in the back that feels so supportive, and you can visibly and feel the person begin to relax. And then I'll send them maybe to a homeopathic doctor. And so it's really kind of group effort.
Now, do you do these sessions for folks, let's say our listeners who aren't in LA? Can they contact you to do a session? Is it online, or how would they contact you to
Well,
to do a dual session?
They'd have to be in California because
really?
legally for
Okay,
therapy.
okay.
Not
Good
for
point.
medium. For mediumship, I do all over the world.
Okay.
But for what Shirley and I do, would probably be best if they made a trip to L.A.
Okay.
Yeah,
think,
only
Shirley?
because we're licensed to practice in California. And
Okay.
so, yeah.
It's the one thing that's not all over the place. It's
That's
just
interesting.
every
Yeah.
state is regulated.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Real good point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. So they can't do a distance session with you. They would have to be in California to do a
To
distance
do the
session.
therapy part. Yeah, they certainly can with me as a
Okay,
medium
right,
anywhere in the
yes,
world. But
right. But I mean a dual
Yeah.
session.
I mean, we
Yeah.
can do, I also do coaching. Mm-hmm. We can do.
well, let's talk
kind of
about the difference between coaching
Yeah.
and therapy.
Yeah. Coaching deals with, from what I see it, coaching deals with an issue that you're having.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And
give us an example of an issue.
So,
procrastination.
procrastination, or I don't know how to motivate my.
That's a good one. Okay.
Yeah. So, even though I may ask similar questions, but in coaching, I'm not looking to heal that wound. And when I'm coaching people, sometimes I will suggest that they go to therapy, and not with me because I can't do both. And
Interesting.
Okay.
Okay.
So you're not looking, like you said, that asking questions to
Yeah, the drill
get you all
down
the
technique.
Yeah,
drill
we
down.
don't do the
Yeah.
drill down.
Okay.
We don't-
Yeah. that you wouldn't necessarily go there.
Okay.
You would kind of maybe put things in place in what would help them not procrastinate. You would, and you're also trying to elicit the answers from them, because when I come up with an answer, it stimulates something in my brain, and I'll remember it. I'm more likely to remember it if I tell you what to do. If someone tells me what to do,
Yeah.
I'm most likely not to remember it. So,
Okay.
yeah. So they, sometimes there's a fine line between the two, but you're not,
Because we see a lot of people who are life coaches, right? They don't, but they don't have the psychology
Right.
background or the training, and they're representing themselves as coaches. So we talked earlier about therapists. Some of the therapists being nightmares. So it's like just think
Right.
about some of these coaches. So
Well, it's always concerned me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when you go into trouble is if someone has some trauma, unresolved trauma
Yeah.
in their background, and you tap into that. So
Oh,
then,
dear.
you bring it to the surface, and
Yeah.
then they re-experience the trauma all over again.
yeah,
So you don't want to re-traumatize them. So that's the
No.
careful
absolutely
thing.
not. So that's the careful thing with coaches, to not go there. But usually in a coaching, assignment, you don't go there.
Yeah.
So is it more superficial, kind of just to get them going?
Yeah.
In a
So,
sense?
for example, I was working with someone who had trouble relating with their coworkers, and now was in a management position and didn't know how to motivate, or how to relate to them. And so, I gave him an EQ test, emotional quotient, and that teaches you how to know what you're feeling, how to imagine what they're feeling, and how to, So it is therapeutic in a way.
Yeah.
And it turns out that he was low on one of them. And so then we worked on techniques on
Oh,
how to
cool.
get him to
Increase that.
increase that
Oh,
piece.
cool.
So again, it's you're working with the person, so there is you're working with the whole person, so there is obviously some psychology in it, but
Yeah.
the coaching engagement looks very different. Like in a therapy, for example, I would ask, when what makes it difficult to not relate to someone, or when you have difficulty relating to someone, what comes up for you?
Yeah.
I wouldn't ask that in a coaching.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Wow. Well, speaking of calls, we gave out the number earlier, 323-649-8268. It's on the screen for those who are watching, 323-649-8268. We will take some calls dealing with questions about therapy, but also, Kelly, will you be doing some sessions today, readings? Some sample readings?
Sure.
How can she not?
Some sample mediumship readings.
I love those.
All right.
Betcha.
You guys ready to get to
Tiger.
our first call?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So let's get to our first one. Area code 541-550. 541-540. Are you on the line with us?
Yes. Can you hear me?
I sure
Yes.
can.
Sure. Can we have your name, please, and where you're calling
Oh,
from?
wow.
Hi there.
My name is Amy. I'm calling from Central Oregon, and I love you ladies. Thank you for everything you do.
Thank you so much. That's so sweet. Amy, what's your birth date?
3/21/76.
Oh, fabulous.
Right on the cusp.
Right on the cusp. Yeah, she actually is. Wow. Are you in a partnership right now?
Yes.
Yeah. That's important for you. It has you need a partnership. Period.
Yes, I have one.
Yeah. Well, how can we help you today?
Well, I have two questions, and I want to respect your time. I know
Oh,
there's
okay.
a lot of people that would love to talk to you.
Okay.
My first question is, I have a daughter, and on the topic of therapy, she is 13, and over the last few years, we've done many things to help her. We've found out she's dyslexic. There's small ADHD, but she really has these big swings, these big, amazing, loving swings, and these big out of control. And it's very hard at that age to find a psychiatrist. There's not many. And I'm just wondering if you could give any advice on that.
And you're looking for a psychiatrist for medication, or are you also looking for someone to do therapy?
More evaluation. We've done therapy and had the horrible experience and the amazing experience of, choosing the right one for the right person. I'm just wondering, type of therapy and evaluations. I'm lucky enough to find my own therapy through listening to you ladies and meditation and different things, but I'm kind of at a loss of what to do when it comes to children. How do you help them?
I just want to understand.
Our therapist kind of took it to the point she could.
And your daughter is ADHD? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
And does that play out in big mood swings? Does she... Well, and I'm sure you've read everything you can about right brain people, ADHD. I mean, have you read the books Distraction, Driven to Distraction?
No, but I know that one. I've read quite a few others on the dyslexia component, and I was just hoping maybe you would have some thought of, children, because it is a struggle of therapy and children and finding that right mix and being able to guide them down their path and not a path that you think is right.
I agree. Well, has your daughter ever been on any medication?
Yes, and it did not work, and she did not like it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Was she on Ritalin? I'm taking a guess.
It was Adderall, and it did not work for her.
Well, Adderall is
just such a... she's such a unique soul. I just really feel there's something
there's these ADHD
amazing in her.
I believe that. I so do, because these kids that are right-brained are really special. I mean, they're hunters out there, and then there are the farmers. And the hunters are the ones that are ADHD. I'm a hunter, so I understand this. And, I had to go.
And we did a show on...
We did.
Actually a 2-part series on the crystal, indigo, and rainbow children.
Right,
so I don't know...
Right.
Yes, I listened to that.
Okay.
I did, and that was really what got me thinking about, how do I keep her on that amazing path and not let her spiral into that negativity and dark side.
If could be that to help her with regulation, so she can learn how to regulate herself. When we get dysregulated is when we have emotions, when we feel things, and so it takes us out of our homeostasis, and that's what emotions are. And so she may feel a little bit more empowered when she can kind of do that herself. And those would be body therapies. Is she at all open to mindfulness or anything like that?
A little bit. We've done a lot with sensory and, that whole being.
What about somatic experience, Shirley?
Well, somatic experience, of course, would be great for her.
Okay.
I don't know if there's anyone up in your area, but go to Somatic Experiencing Trauma Institute and look under practitioners. And I'm looking at something right now.
And while Shirley is doing that, has she ever worked with crystals?
She has not.
Okay, Kelly, you are an expert on crystals. So what do you think with kids and crystals?
Well, crystals are amazing, holding the energy with kids, especially she's 13. I mean, I would go by some crystal shop and see what she likes.
What she's drawn to?
What she's drawn to.
Maybe to wear one, even. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And, you have to watch her, the diet is really crucial with that. No sodas. I mean, I hate to say, you want to really keep a clean diet with her. And sugar, you have to watch the sugars and all that, because all of that will spike the energy
I
up.
agree.
Yeah. I'm looking at it up now. I found 25 fun mindfulness activities and exercises for children and teens.
Ooh.
So that would be something, it's positivepsychologyprogram.com.
Okay.
And
right.
Yeah.
If you can look it up. There's also maybe some CDs that you can buy. If you go on Amazon, there's some wonderful CDs that can help with mindfulness. With regards to medication, that's kind of difficult. When I usually ask someone to visit someone for medication is when they're so anxious that all I'm doing every session is trying to keep their head above water, and we're not really doing any work to help reduce the anxiety. But
wait a minute. Is she anxious?
She does. She gets anxious, and, I've done a lot of reading and studying. And when she is out of her habit, or especially there is a big change, I'm very aware and sensitive to that. Again, also with the sensory of the noises and the environment. It's just as much as I've taken my spiritual growth, I want to make sure she stays on this amazing path, and we don't medicate when not needed, and we're not doing things to take away from her being her.
Yeah. I agree with that. Keep her as creative as you can. Get her a lot of paints or dance or music or something to keep her active like that. Get her into meditation. A guided meditation would be great.
Yeah.
Teach her some empath skills too.
Yes, because she's definitely an empath. She probably feels everybody's energy when she walks into a room. Have you read any of the
She does.
Yeah, read some of the books on HSP, Highly Sensitive Person by Elaine. What's her last name? Dr. Elaine Aron, I think. Aron. I don't know. I think. I'll tell you why. There's an HSP for children, and I think that
that's Elaine Aron, Aron. That's hspperson.com.
Yeah, so I'd look into that too.
Great.
What else? I mean, if you were here, I would say, go see Dr. Gramlich for a homeopathic remedy. But have you seen a homeopath? That's not a bad idea.
I have personally. I've not taken her, but as you were doing your intro, I was thinking about that.
Might
so
be probably
that may be the
great.
next step is taking her to my naturopath doctor.
That's exactly what I would do.
See what we can do there.
Yeah,
that's exactly what I would do, because these kids that have come in now, they're really at a different vibration. I mean, what a lovely, incredible mother you are, that you are so concerned about her and how you want her to have her own expression. I love that. I mean, Amy, that's fantastic. I mean, you guys chose each other before you incarnated. So this is a fabulous thing, and I view them as they're not from around here, because I know I wasn't, and I know I'm not.
And real quickly, what is her birthday?
Yeah, well, good question, John. What is your daughter's birthday?
Hers is 4/29, and I knew when I had a Taurus, I was going to have a strong-willed child.
well, not 4/29, April 29th. Is that it? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so she comes in with a lot of freedom, so she has to have freedom. You've got to let her be.
Has she ever talked about her past lives to you?
She does not. I've just recently, in the last 2 years, really done that, and I actually had my first PLR a couple months ago, and it really, I have to tell you, my anxiety went away 70% after my first PLR, after I really put some thought.
Because you say she comes in with a lot of freedom.
I just don't know if she's ready for that.
Yeah, interesting.
What is PLR?
Past life regression.
Okay. Wow. So, but she comes in with a lot of freedom. So she's not from here. And, God bless her for wanting to come here and have the experience. You take her to the homeopath, feed her only natural, good, delicious foods. And give her a lot of love.
Yeah, I'm looking. If I find, I'm looking for a resource right now.
Well, I put a couple in the links below.
Did you? Okay.
So if you're watching on the video, you can see I commented the hspperson.com and also the positivepsychologyprogram.com, mindfulness for kids. That's there too.
Yeah, great. And if I find the one that I'm looking for, also we'll post it on our Facebook.
Yeah, and we also have a show here on UBN. It's called Rebel Hearts now, and that's with Christy Reeves, and she was the guest that was on and
I'll look that one up.
and introduced the Indigo, Crystal, and Rainbow Kids. So, and she has a whole documentary series on that called Children of the Rainbow.
Oh, definitely watch that.
Yeah.
And she's an excellent resource.
I saw those parts. It was a few months back. I was on a road trip and listened to the podcast, so thank you.
Yeah, but she's actually got a documentary series, though, a full documentary series called Children of the Rainbow. Yeah. Okay, great.
All right. Amy, thanks so much for calling.
Yeah, thank you so much for calling.
I have one. Can I have one more quick question? I'm so sorry.
Sure.
I don't want to take up your time, but I am so fortunate to get a call with you. I have one issue that I feel you could help me with. I had to make some decisions. My grandmother passed, and I've been feeling very blocked and not feeling her as much. And I was just wondering if, by chance, she had any words.
Is that your grandmother on your mother's side?
Yes.
Yeah. Boy, did you take care of her at the very end? Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
You did a great job. It's all right, honey. She says you did you did a fantastic job. She visits your family. She visits your daughter. She's not blocked. You've been very sad, and also she's telling me you worry all the time, and I understand that you would worry because you've got, some situations here with, trying to be the best mom you can and get the best help for your daughter and all of that. But she says that she's telling me to go ahead, and she's telling you yes, whatever that means to you. Yes. If you have to, did you have to make a decision?
Yeah, I had to make some
she says that was you did
decisions.
good. You did good. You did good. Yes. Yes, don't
Good.
worry.
I'm glad
And who's with?
I want her to.
And I'm getting a funny name. Like I want an old-fashioned name, like Clara or Clarence on the other side. It's like old-fashioned name.
Of her?
On her side.
She has an old-fashioned. Yeah, from her or from?
Yeah, from her. What's her name?
Her name's Joellen.
Oh, well, that's old-fashioned. But
Her last name starts with a C.
Oh, okay. Can you tell me your last name?
Connard.
Okay, because I kept hearing like Clarence or something. Okay, well that's her, but that's her, and she's with her father. Her father. Now it looks like she had a husband too, but she's with her father. I'm not sure what the connection is with the father, but she's there. She doesn't want you to
her father.
With her father. She's talking about her father. She was really happy to see him. Really happy. So. Yeah, he
died when she was very young.
Yes, so you need to know she's really happy to see him.
Good.
Okay.
And you said her husband. Is she with her husband?
Yes, they're all together. But it was the most important thing. Yes, she is with him. But it was the most important thing that you heard that she was with her father now. Okay, because that was had been a big hole in her life. That had been a big one for her. All right. So thanks, Amy, for calling. I really appreciate it.
Hold on. Before you leave, Amy, I found it.
Oh,
her name is Susan Kaiser Greenland, and we'll put it on the thing. And there's actually a community online. Connect with like-minded people online. And it's an online resource where you can connect with parents and professionals who are passionate about sharing mindfulness and meditation with children, teens, and families.
Great.
And she's wonderful.
Great. Do you know her, Cheryl?
Great.
Yeah.
I'll put that in the links.
Yeah, Susan Kaiser Greenland. There's tips online. There's classes. I mean, she's here in LA, but there's a community page where you can ask other parents and feel connected with people.
Great. That's what you need.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
When you have special children.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we also have a listener, Debbie, it looks like here on Facebook Live, saying. Desiree was ADD. Dance lessons worked, and she was an artist and would draw for hours. She was a genius, so always look at each child individually. Desiree was not from here, and she chose me. She had past lives. Her days on earth were spent helping so many spiritually. I've always believed ADD and ADHD children are chosen. Look at Children of the Rainbow. It will explain her anxiety. My daughter could sense spirits everywhere she went. God has her with him now.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, my daughter's been sensing it, but she's been very scared of it. So I'm trying to work with clearing and all of that. So thank you.
You're so welcome.
So much.
She sure is lucky to have you.
Yes.
Thank you so much for calling.
Thanks for calling. Keep in touch with us and let us know, okay?
Yeah.
It's
yes, I will. Thank you.
All right. When I was somewhere, where was I? Somewhere. Oh, I was reading. If you read, there's a great book, Driven to Distraction. And the guy who wrote it talks about being on a train in India, and he's on this train in India with other doctors, other psychologists, actually, and medical doctors too. And he says they start talking about this ADD thing. And they said, ADD, you know what we call that in India? We call that the most special of the souls.
Wow.
Because they go from here to there, to there, to here, to there. And they've come into this life to finish many things up. And so we believe they're the most special of souls. And I have to agree with that.
What a wonderful reframe.
And especially incarnating on this planet, which is so dense and overwhelming that on other planets and other dimensions, or however you want to look at it, apparently it's not as bad as here. So.
Right. Yeah.
So no wonder they're overwhelmed.
This is a tough one.
Yeah,
Such a tough one.
Yeah.
Battleground Earth.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah. Okay, so we have time for some more.
Sure,
We have it's 7:45. So
Yes.
So let's move on to our next question. It looks like we got some questions for readings. Let's go to area code 804-804-874. You're on the line with Kelly and Shirley. Can we have your name, please, and where you're calling from?
Yes.
Hi.
Yes, this is Sandy from Richmond, Virginia.
Hi, Sandy. How can we help
Hi,
you?
John. Hi, Shirley.
Hey, Sandy.
Hi.
I'm calling. I'm glad you guys had this about therapy, but I was calling also because I'm a medium who just came out recently, about a year ago.
Congratulations!
And professionally, I've been doing it for.
It was
Thank
rough.
you.
Was it hard?
I trained under James Van Praagh.
Yay, my best
one of his
friend!
students.
Yay!
Yes. And I wanted to know because I was given a speech and a presentation at the IONS group here in the East Coast. I don't know if you know what IONS is.
Yeah.
And I was given a speech, and after I gave the speech, I'm so glad you guys are doing this, and I'm glad you're both together because I wanted to ask you a question on this. I had a psychiatrist come to me after my event, and I haven't told him yes or no yet. I just kind of told him I had some things coming up in the event that I needed to finish.
Mm-hmm.
And he asked me if I can work with him on families of suicides.
That's a great question.
My thread in my readings are suicides, and I guess he was listening to me giving my spiel about the suicides and the readings and the different families that have crossed my path. He asked me if I can work with him with some of his families, and that kind of scared me. I know I could do it, but it's just kind of. I felt like I was crossing the line, and I don't know about that.
Well, I work with many psychiatrists, psychologists. Of course, I work with Shirley, and I specialize in suicide. And if it's.
In fact, we did a show recently on suicide survivors.
On the survivors. I think it's some of the most important work. I mean, how I don't know how to ask this, but how what is it? Are you lacking in confidence with the readings?
What is it that you're afraid of?
No.
That's my curiosity.
Oh, okay. What my thing was, the responsibility of the psychiatry part of it was, I've had wonderful blessings with these families. I mean, wonderful. I just had one 2 weeks ago, and it was funny how the connection of a suicide I had 2 months prior matched almost identical to this other child.
Wow.
Same kind of boy, same age, committing suicide, very similar, with the heroin and the drugs, and the same mothers going through almost the same exact scenarios. It was crazy, and it's just, I feel like that's almost my past now. I was told that many years ago in a past aggression kind of therapy I had in the 90s, told me I would work with families of children that passed on. I had no clue what that meant.
Wow.
That was before I even knew or came out that I was a medium.
Yeah.
So it was kind of scary to hear that. It was my first one.
But
my thing is, I just, how do I represent myself? Maybe I should say.
So are you...
When I go into these families.
Oh, all right. So, Sandy, what's your birth date? I just want to get that.
09/19.
Oh, right before
1967.
Okay, yeah, you're right there as a medium. Okay, that's I'm September 20th, so you're right.
Okay.
You're right there as a medium. I totally get that.
Yeah, I've been like this since I was a child.
Yeah, no,
so when this lady was talking prior about her rainbow child,
right? No,
that
I
was
understand.
myself.
So,
I wasn't ADHD, but I had dyslexia.
When you say how do you you want to represent yourself as a medium, how to do that part of it? Because you want to be as
Yeah, when I go into an office, I want to be professional.
Okay, yeah, you've got to dress professionally.
I'm very kind, and when
you want to be very
when I do
empathic.
Here, I have readings in my home.
All right, so it's no different.
But how do I go into an office?
Well, you dress, appropriately. I mean, as my mother used to say to me,
ma'am.
You don't want to look like you're a. What did she call me? I don't know. Some like
a hippie,
like a airy fairy kind of person.
Yeah.
Like, did I ever do
I don't do that.
No,
I do very professional when I do my readings
and you
and
don't
I do my public speaking.
Very good. And then you don't want to wear jeans. I mean, you want to dress the part, and you want to be as calm and centered and loving and empathic and compassionate as possible because you are holding their heart. Don't ever forget that. You're holding their heart.
Yeah.
You want to forget the psychiatrist is there. You want to do. I mean, when I work with Shirley or whomever, I'm just working with the patients or the clients for whatever comes through. So you want to be the day before you want to be as clear and centered and breathing. So for that day. You put your own anxiety, your own fear away, and you just go right in as if you're doing a regular reading. Yeah. I mean, frankly, you never know what's going to show up, right?
Well, that's what the doctor said. He said, I trust you so much, I don't feel like I have to be in the room. And I said, well, I'd rather you be in the room for a few, and I guess I just until I feel confident.
Yeah,
enough.
I mean,
I have no problem in my reading.
Okay.
I have no problem in reading.
It's the same
for
thing
suicide,
then.
But I just.
It's the
It
same
was just
thing.
an office that kind of scared me. Like, ooh.
Yeah, don't be afraid of the office. The office is going to be your best friend. Yeah. You want to make peace with the office because this is where the families are coming to. And we need mediums that do this work.
Oh, it can be. I mean, I've witnessed it. It is one of the most life-changing. It's one of the most healing things ever. I mean, I might suggest that you come up with maybe something that you say beforehand, you know, that you feel comfortable and kind of letting them know a little bit about what you do and how, you know, they can take it or leave it kind of thing, and or believe it, or, you know, whatever your words would be, and maybe that might help
they're asking for help.
Okay.
They're asking for help, and the doctor is at his wit's end with them, where he feels like I could be the link to the next step for them to heal.
Well, absolutely.
He has that much confidence in me, and I think it scared me. It was like, whoa, you're asking me to do this?
I believe
I do it every day in my home, in my practice, but not
there's no different. There's no different if you go into an office. There's no different at all. Take maybe something with you that feels familiar or that kind of creates that energy that you have in your home. But I am so happy to hear that a psychiatrist is wanting to do this for his patients to help them heal. It is incredibly healing.
Well, Shirley, we work with a psychiatrist on the other side, on the East Coast too.
Yeah,
you know, I mean, it's a very valuable work.
Yeah,
the most healing. And remember, you just want to be as calm and as kind and empathic. You're holding their heart.
Yeah. Thank you, Sandy. Hope that was helpful for you.
You'll be great.
Thank you.
You'll be great.
Yes.
Love you guys.
Give us
Thank you.
Be sure to give us an update. All right.
Yeah, please do.
Thanks.
Okay, I will.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Sandy.
John.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Well, you know, it is true. When I started working with the doctors, and you know, you were so gracious to me, Shirley. You were so, come on in, let's get this done. And you were great.
I love this stuff.
But you were so great. But it was really great working with my mom and some other doctors that I've worked with. And I mean, it's just an amazing experience. And they're just as in awe as you are. You know, I'm always in awe myself.
Oh, I'm always, I believe in it. And every time and especially when I know something and you start to say it and I haven't said anything to you, I'm always in awe. Yeah. And it has never not been helpful. It has never not been healing.
Yeah. So you do great, Sandy. Go you.
Yes, definitely.
Well, we have several calls. I know we're running out of time, so it's up to you guys if you're ready to take them.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Especially if there's any psychology ones too. Those are two really good questions.
Let's go to area code 903-903-390. Is this Cheryl?
Yes.
Hi, Cheryl.
Cheryl.
Hi. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. My question is related to grief therapy. How do you know when you've gotten as much out of it as you can?
Such a great question.
Yeah, that is a great question.
Oh, I got chills when you said that. Did you lose your husband?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, he's around you, honey. He's still there, and I'm hearing a J. I want to hear it say the name John. I want to say I love you. I want to say I love you. He's so happy that you got in contact with him. Oh my God! I think he's more excited than you. I mean, I know he doesn't want you grieving. He's telling me he's never left you, and he's never loved you more. I mean, this guy loves you. Oh, that must have been a heartbreak for you. But he's also telling me that who's with an S? Like I want to say the name Sam or something. S on the other side. On the other side, Steve, is that his name?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. He loves you, honey. He's telling me that he wants you to go ahead and live. And thank you for not just being the greatest wife possible, that he never even imagined he could have a wife like you. He never believed in himself, he says. Does that make sense to you? What I'm saying? He didn't believe in himself. You were like you were the one. You were the one that gave him all of the courage. Like you were. He's like liquid gold to him. You gave him life. He says thank you for giving him life. Thank you. And also he's telling me that in grief therapy you were sitting next to a female that also lost her husband, and they've connected on the other side. This man that you. Does this make sense? In the grief therapy, there was another female there.
There was actually a couple. So
there was one in particular.
Group,
yeah, there's somebody in particular that you were sitting next to that he befriended her husband. And there was like a big shout out for her because I'm not sure, was she suicidal? Was she really depressed? He's worried about this group.
Very.
Yeah.
Very.
He's worried about her being suicidal. So he's telling me that, you'll see each other again. He promises me. And he's talking about a dog and a bicycle. A dog and a bicycle.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
So, yeah. And also I'm getting the name L. I like, I don't know, Les or Leslie or I don't know, something like with an L around him, around you currently. Around you. Do you have a girlfriend that you've been going out with a lot? He wants you to.
I have a friend that I've gone out with a few times. I don't go out much.
He wants you to be able to go out again. He's telling me the last time you went to a movie was a long time ago. He wants you out. He wants you to go out again. Yeah. Okay? And he's giving me permission. I mean, he's giving you permission. He's telling me, giving you me permission to tell you to go out. It's okay. Okay. And as far as grieving groups go, he's telling me that you could lead a group. Were you a therapist at one time? Or
I wasn't, but I get asked for advice all the time.
Yeah, because he's speaking to me like as if you are. Who's the nun? N-U-N? Who's a nun? Was there a nun?
There's a couple.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's a couple.
Wow, well, that's
such an oddball thing. I have no idea what that even means, a nun. I mean, I know the term. I mean, I've seen them in their outfits, but I don't understand why that would be coming up. I have no idea. Was he a Catholic or something, or were you a Catholic?
No, he was not. Okay. He was a Methodist because he said he liked golf, and that was a good place to find golf partners.
So he was funny, too.
Funny. I love him. I love him. What is a nun? I'm out of curiosity. What is he talking about with nuns?
I converted.
Oh.
And I had questions about some things that I was still struggling with when he died. He died very, very suddenly.
Yeah. Oh, okay. The soul goes on. The soul goes on, and you will see him again, and he wants you to laugh again. And he's talking about underneath your pillow, you put like I want to say something of his underneath your pillow, or are you using his pillow?
No, I have one of his shirts under my pillow.
Oh, okay, okay. He's happy. That makes him really happy.
Wow.
He wants you to, now, are you snuggling with a dog, with his dog?
Yes.
Okay, he's happy about that.
We had a little Maltese.
He's happy about that. He's really happy about that.
He's
that makes
most definitely around you.
I love this man. What a great husband.
Yeah.
A fun guy. Yeah. Really good husband.
He was the best and quite the character.
Yeah, quite a character and really good. And he loves bacon. He loved his bacon. I love it when they tell me what they eat.
Very much.
Isn't that the funniest thing?
So
anyway,
just to I know that you had called because you said when do you know? Well, no, that
wanted to come through.
That is the best.
Yeah.
I just want to get back to the question real quick.
Yeah.
I think you said when do you know when you're done with going to a grief support group? Is that?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm sort of the best way I can say it is a functioning alcoholic, meaning. I'm to the point where I can do things.
Yeah.
But I don't feel less sad.
Yeah, well, and you won't. I mean, grieving is, you feel the sadness possibly a little less often, but when you feel the sadness, you feel it, I don't think you'll ever not feel
But there is one thing I would recommend. It's a homeopathic remedy for grief. Have you ever considered that? A homeopathic remedy for grief, and it is called Ignatia, Ignatia. And my cousin, who I love more than life, when her husband died, it was very traumatic and it was very sad, and she was in grief, and she still is. It doesn't take away it forever, but at least she was able to get out and get her hair done. I'll never forget when she said to me, "I'm going out and get my hair done now." I couldn't believe it. I was so happy. But Ignatia is an amazing grief remedy, homeopathic remedy. So you might want to look that up. It does help.
I'll try it.
Just try it.
And as far as the support group, if you're still getting something out of it, if you enjoy going and kind of being around, like-minded people, then I would suggest that you continue to go, that there really is no end date. If you're not getting help from it, or if it doesn't feel good to go, then I think, that you can stop going or maybe find another support group. But as long as it helps you.
I mean, was it making you more sad?
Yeah, some days it does.
Yeah, I've heard that about grief groups. Some, it all depends.
Some days I feel like I'm starting all over.
Oh, God,
so
honey.
maybe another one where people have worked through a lot of the sadness, and it's more of a support group, like they're supporting each other and not kind of bringing the sadness back into the room. So maybe it's time to look for a different one. Because there's something about being around people who have felt your pain, but you're absolutely right. If it kind of depresses you more when you go, then
you don't want to. You don't want to inflict any more of that on you.
Yeah,
it's grief is part of the human condition, isn't it?
Yeah,
it just
tough one.
is. And before we hang up, Cheryl,
it really sucks.
I know it does sucks totally. Cheryl, what's your birth date?
July.
July 5th. What? July 5th. Okay, I was just curious about that. Okay. Yeah. Well, you have a pretty good life path there. But grief is, it just is part of our life.
It is.
It just is.
He was such a big part of life.
Yeah.
And
he's a big character. I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, he really was. I feel like sometimes that it's a little overwhelming. I'm not really sure which direction to take.
Well, sometimes
and a lot of responsibility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes, it helps to give yourself permission, for example, to grieve during this time and that time. So say from 8 to 8:30, that's your grieving time. And so you allow yourself to feel everything that you're going to feel, and know that in 30 minutes or in an hour, it's over. And then you go about your day, and when those thoughts come in, remember some of the good memories. Bring in some of the wonderful memories that you have about him. That is kind of strange as it may sound, to give yourself permission to choose a time during the day to grieve, can be really helpful.
And the other thing is, are you in therapy currently?
I've stopped. Like I said, I felt like some days I was just starting over again.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe, maybe finding a good therapist that works for you individually might help. Also, I mean, do you have a real good close friend too? Or, even after a while, you have to almost start to pick up again. Yeah. It's rough. I really, Cheryl, I so empathize with you. It's a hard one.
Yeah.
Well, we did everything together. We worked together. We were, where you found one, you found the other. So.
Oh my goodness. Well, I want you to
look. There's not a part of life that's not touched.
God.
And how long ago was this?
It's been 2 years.
Yeah. There's no timeline on it.
No,
there is
isn't.
absolutely no timeline on it. So don't think that you should be more resolved, because I hate using the word over it. You should be more resolved, because there is no timeline.
But look into Ignatia. I'm telling you, as a remedy for grief, it is unbelievable. I have so many widows I know. I've referred them to this, and it has really helped. So a little bit, but
I will do that.
Moves a little bit of that energy. You're welcome. Thank you so much for calling, and I love this man. He's a great guy.
Yeah. Think about maybe getting into something creative, maybe painting or something like that.
Idea.
Painting is the there's it can feel very calming. There's
Okay.
Absolutely.
That might be helpful. Yeah. Thank you so much for calling.
All right.
We're so sorry for your loss.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Wow.
Okay.
So we are really over time.
Yeah, we are. But I was going to mention, folks, if they want to share this video, so if you click the share button on Facebook Live, just hit the share button and then comment in the comments below, tagging a friend. So you want to tag a friend, just hit @ and then tag in the name of the friend. Let them know that you shared the video. We will enter you in for a giveaway.
Yep.
And next week we will reveal the prize, because we'll discuss it, and it might be a free reading, it might be a book, it could be who knows what. So it'll be a mystery surprise, and we will give that away next week for everybody who clicks the share button. We'll enter you in for the drawing to win that prize.
Perfect.
Maybe we'll do 2 giveaways.
Yeah,
Why not?
Let's do two.
Okay.
Let's do two giveaways.
You got it.
We'll draw two names from everybody who shares.
Wonderful.
And thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, everybody.
Thank you so much. And always remember, there are two sides, right?
There are two sides
to every story.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.